Hello and welcome back to Bookish. It's Saturday, so I'm going to do another Bookish Hodgepodge, and apparently Ike is going to accompany me on the wine back there. Maybe a lot of doggish interactions in this video. Apparently whenever I come to sit down here, the dogs feel like they just have to come up here and keep me company, which I don't mind as long as they're quiet. But not today. Anyway, so essentially this is just an opportunity for me to come to you, make another video on Saturday, and try to get even more interaction out of the people I really enjoy, all of you here on BookTube, by talking about some bookish things. So it's Shaketube. I am participating in Shaketube. I read The 12th Night, which was hosted by Jason over at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and this week I'm reading Measure for Measure, which has been hosted by, or being hosted by Bookish at Totally Pretentious. I'll leave links to their channels down below. Both those plays I have enjoyed. I've done a little bit less Shaketube play or Shakespeare play reading this month than I did last Shaketube, which was my first, and I kind of threw myself into it with full enthusiasm. In part, I'd done less play reading because I've been trying to read this biography of Elizabeth I, the principal monarch of Shakespeare's life. This is a really good biography, and I'm enjoying it. Haven't made much progress recently, and that's because I'm a slow reader, and I'm back at work, and I have papers to grade, and sometimes I'm reading less because I'm grading papers, and sometimes I'm reading less because when I should be grading papers, I feel guilty if I read. In addition to that, I've been doing a buddy read this last week with Britta Bohler, and we're reading this book called The Hiding Game. It's a piece of historical fiction by Naomi Wood. I've been having a good time reading that with Britta. I'll talk more about that later when I finish. I've gotten a few books in that I ordered. Probably the one I was most excited to get. It's called The Public Burning. This is by an American author named Robert Coover, who, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard about, but I discovered this book thanks to Marc Nash. He and I did the page 112 challenge, where we exchanged books, the page 112 from 4 different books, and then we read the books the other suggested, and I really liked the page 112 from this book, so I ordered one, and I was happy to see it come in. A little thicker than I thought it was going to be, but I will definitely put it on the eTBR, the eventual TBR. So one of the things that occurred to me based on my reading this week is that I think I take maybe a wrong approach to books and authors. I like to think that I'm a critical reader, and I read really critically, and I expect authors to impress me and to pull off these amazing things, or I won't give them my highest rating. But I realize that the reality is quite different. I'm usually fairly impressed with authors, and a book in print means something to me. It means an achievement, and I have a tendency to be hesitant, to be overly critical of someone who's achieved getting a book in print. And so I think that when I'm reading, part of one of the things that hinders my critical approach to reading and assessing books is the fact that I give the author too much the benefit of the doubt. I will root for them to pull it off, even if I've been disappointed with the book for most of what I've been reading. I will root for them to pull it off in the last 50 or 60 or 70 pages and really bring the book home and make it more meaningful and better. And this doesn't always happen. I have one BookTube shout-out I want to make. It's Bookish Shennanigans. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. She reads a lot of classics, and recently she toured Victoria Woolf's home and made a really great video of the tour of her home, and I really like that, and I like what she has to say about books. Please go check her out. It's a great channel, and she deserves to have way more subscribers than I do. So also there are a number of BookTube events that I'm really looking forward to that are coming up. It's almost Victober, and I'm just almost beside myself with a desire to finish all the reading I have for Shaketube in this month, so I can get to my Victober readings and hopefully get a head start. I haven't quite finalized my Victober TBR, but I will shortly, and probably have a wrap-up TBR video out next weekend. But I'm really looking forward to it. Victorian literature is not something that I probably would have looked forward to before I got on BookTube, but last year I just had a great time reading Victorian literature, and so I'm looking forward to that again too. Also, though, an idea of Mel's from Mel's Bookland Adventures, and it is a Gone with the Book readathon in which you, at the end of every month, and Mel kind of recognized that people have these readathon months going on. Victober is next month, Nonfiction November is in November, that people might want to break from that to read something a little different. So her Gone with the Book readathon focuses on books published before 1950. And you could read any book that you want published before 1950, and I chose to read A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. A couple of reasons. Number one, I want to read more Virginia Woolf. I've only ever read To the Lighthouse, and I really liked it. And so Virginia Woolf is kind of on my radar as an author I want to read more of. But in addition to that, Claudia over at Spinster's Library, by the way, I'll leave a link to Claudia's video and to Mel's video for the Gone with the Book readathon down below. Claudia over at Spinster's Library pointed out how important the book is in terms of being an early statement for women's right to create and to kind of throw off the patriarchal system of the past, which said that women couldn't be creative creators, and she challenged people to read A Room of One's Own, and I'm going to do it. So that will be the first book I read for the Gone with the Book readathon. Anyway, I think that's about it in terms of my hodgepodge this week. I realize this one seems a little bit more random and scattered than the ones in the past, but welcome to my reality. I'm not nearly as organized as I frequently appear. Anyway, let me know what you think about anything I said, or the books that I've been reading, or what I plan to do, or if you're excited about Victober. You don't actually have to have a channel. You can just tell me what your Victober or your Gone with the Book readathon plans are, and I'll be happy to get back to you. And as always, thank you for watching.